Right now, the biggest complaint about Valorant is that it doesn't feel like a shooter game and more like a MOBA, where both teams are trying to spam as much util as they can to make the enemies basically physically unable to fight back. And Riot Games has made it very clear they are trying to solve this problem with various changes. They did just release an agent named Vito, which can straight up delete utility or become immune to util during his ultimate, but it turns out Vito was only part 1 because the patch notes of 11.8 just got leaked, and they're going to be doing so many nerfs to various agents. So let's take a look at them and discuss how they're going to be changing the game fundamentally. The first major change is going to be affecting all initiator signature abilities, that being if they have a recharge time of 40 seconds, it is now going to be increased to 60 whole seconds. And this is a major change because now initiators are going to have to wait way longer if they want to use their signature ability again. Because my best example of it is that when you're pushing with Breach, you can usually use his stun at the beginning of the round, take the site, plant, and after waiting 40 seconds, you will be able to then use that stun to stall a retake. Well, now it's very likely that there won't actually be enough time for Breach to get a stun back, because remember, the total time it takes for the spike to detonate is 40 seconds, while Breach's stun, on the other hand, is going to have a 60-second cooldown. The next change is for Neon, that being that now her sprint bar will regenerate slower, though she can now sprint for a bit longer. To be honest, I can't really comment on this change way too much because they didn't give us an exact percentage, so as far as we know, this could be a simple rework and not really a nerf. Now, these next two nerfs for Yoru, in my opinion, are pretty drastic, and the first one is that the flash duration for his flash and clone did get decreased from 2 seconds to 1.6 seconds, meaning that now if Yoru wants to take advantage of his flash, he will have 0.4 seconds less to do so. Now, if you thought that first nerf is pretty bad, don't worry, the second one is even worse, that being that now Yoru can no longer flash or clone while in his ultimate. This, in my opinion, is a major nerf because that was, in my opinion, the funnest part about Yoru's ultimate, that being that you can find an enemy and then use your util to basically catch him off guard and kill them. If you've ever seen any kind of zip type videos, you'd know that he loves doing that type of thing. Well, now, because of these nerfs, the funnest part about Yoru is basically no longer able to be done, which kinda sucks. Although I do understand why this has been removed, because that part of his ultimate was broken, because if a Yoru knows what he is doing, he can basically guarantee a kill on an enemy that is by themselves. But don't get it twisted, this does not make his ultimate bad. It is still one of the most powerful ultimates in the game because of the amount of information you can get for your team while pushing a site, or because of the fact that you can do certain funny plays like getting a shotgun and basically jumping an enemy. Now, this next nerf is going to be to a status debuff, that being nearsight, that being that now instead of being able to see 5 meters around you, it is going to be increased to 7 meters around you. And this is going to affect agents like Omen or Reyna, where now if you use their abilities in a place like B window on bind, it is actually very likely the enemy will still be able to fight back because of how close proximity those areas are. This is going to be another nerf for initiators, that being that ultimates like Breach, Fade, Taeho will have the size of their ultimates reduced. This is because now currently some of these ultimates are so big that they're able to get the majority of sight with just the ultimate. So now with this change, they're going to be making it that now you only have to focus on a couple angles and not just say, fuck it, we get the entire sight. Now we have a nerf on any form of utility that can recharge after being destroyed, like Cypher or Killjoy, where originally it was 45 seconds, but now it is going to 60 seconds, which this is going to be very annoying for an agent like Cypher, because let's just say you use Cypher on attack to clear an angle. Well, once the enemy shoots the camera, you are going to have to wait an additional 15 seconds to get your camera back, so you could then use it to delay the spike diffuse. But one interesting thing is that they're actually going to be buffing KO and Breach flashes, making it that now it's going to be the same as Sky flashes, that being 2.25 seconds, and they also appear to be removing the lower flash duration for the KO right click, meaning that now KO will be able to right click flash better. They will be making a change to the stim beacon, making it that now it should be pretty uniform across all agents who has this ability. So for example, this will mainly work as a buff to KO, which now his ultimate stim effect should be similar to Brimstone's stim. This next nerf is going to be for Viper, that being that now the instant decay upon touching her smokes is going to be reduced from 30 to 10, and for the most part this shouldn't change much because the most important interaction Viper has of her decay is that if the enemy touches your smokes, you will be able to one-shot headshot them with the Phantom at any range. The only interaction this will really change is that now you won't be able to 3-shot body shot them with a Vandal and if they're using heavy armor. Now we have a nerf to Sage's wall, that being that the HP is going down from 800 to 600, meaning that now if you want to use the wall to stall, it is going to be lasting way shorter and it is going to break way faster. But in return they did also give a buff, that being that the price of the wall is going down from 400 to 300, meaning that on round 1 Sage will be able to buy her wall with a ghost. On one hand, I like this change because Sage's wall is one of the most annoying pieces of utility in the game, but on the other hand, I'm also kind of worried because Sage is one of the weaker sentinels in the game, and her wall is basically the only thing she has that makes her viable, so nerfing her wall, in my opinion, might make her even worse. Another status debuff nerf, and that is going to be that now in general, all stuns are going to be lasting way shorter. So now if you're playing someone like Breach or Neon, your stuns are going to be weaker and now you will have to play off them way quicker. They didn't reveal the exact percentages, but we just know that there is going to be a nerf to stuns. Cypher is going to be receiving 2 more nerfs, that being that now if you get within close proximity of the camera while it is invisible, the camera will actually reveal itself and you could shoot it easier. And the tripwire duration is going to be increased, meaning that the time it takes for the trip to actually stun you is going to take a bit longer. I don't think these nerfs are going to be anything too crazy for Cypher, and I still think he's going to be one of the best sentinels in the game. Omen is going to get a massive nerf. For his smokes, first of all, the cooldown is going to be increased from 30 seconds to 40 seconds, which is going to be very annoying. And for his paranoia, the distance that it travels will be shorter, but it will travel faster now. Yeah, as an Omen main, I'm definitely going to be feeling this change. For Gecko, his Thrash HP is going down from 200 to 180, and his Wingman HP is going from 80 to 60. For Astra, the duration of her stun ability has been reduced like all the other stun abilities, but the fragile duration of Astra's gravity well has been reduced from 5 seconds to 2.5 seconds, meaning that if you're going to want to make use of that fragile, you are going to have to act way quicker. Vice is going to be getting a bunch of nerfs, that being that the HP of her Razor Vines has been decreased from 40 to 20, the radius of her ultimate has been decreased from 32.5 to 26 meters, which is going to be a massive change. And lastly, the ult activation time was decreased from 3.4 seconds to 4.4 seconds. And lastly, when she blinds someone, she will no longer get any information. That sound effect that tells her if she got somebody will no longer be there. For Deadlock, the HP of her mini nodes has been decreased from 570 to 480. But just like Sage, the price of her wall is going to be reduced from 400 to 300. The last buff is that they said they're going to be making all around the spray way more predictable for all guns, meaning that if you want to spray transfer, it should be now way easier. Now for some map changes, we are going to be getting some for Pearl and Abyss. Specifically on Pearl, it's going to be affecting B site, while on Abyss, they're going to be making major changes to how mid works, and they're also going to be changing B site, giving the attackers more places to plant. Lastly, they did reveal what the Battle Pass skins look like and what the brand new premium skin is going to look like, which you are currently seeing up on your screen. I'm going to be making a video highlighting these in a bit. But that's basically it for these changes. I all around love them because they're just going to make the game more focused on the actual gunfight element of Valorant and less on just util spam bullshit. Hit the like button below and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Goodbye.